When I saw the title of Aged to Perfection, it reminded me of Sue, because I think she has aged to perfection.
She has meant so much for so many people in this state, as a legislator, as lieutenant governor, even in her work at DRI and on the Gaming Commission. Wherever Sue has been, she has made a huge imprint.
Sue has been called a natural politician, which may stem from her childhood in Maine with her politically active father. Her parents inadvertently helped develop Sue's campaigning skills after young Sue borrowed her sister's bike without permission, and it was run over by a car and damaged.
And so her mother and father said she would have to sell candy bars door to door until she was able to pay for a new bike for her sister. She made friends wherever she went, that it was fun to find out about different people. She said, well, I think maybe that was why I'm able to talk to people so easily.
Sue further developed her communication skills when her family moved from Maine to Arizona, and she brought her New England accent to school.
The kids in the class thought her accent was so funny that they would make her read all the announcements. And she thought they liked her, and they were really just wanting to hear her crazy accent. But she got really good at making new friends and standing up and talking in front of people.
After college, grad school, work, marriage, and motherhood, Sue and her family moved to Reno, where she began getting involved in the community. It wasn't long before she realized she could make a difference in politics.
Sue said, I think I can do a much better job than the assemblyman who represents me. And we all agreed, of course, sure, you can do fine. So she decided to run.
She was an up-and-coming, bright woman running for office, and it was terribly exciting to see what she could do.
She ran at a time when women were just beginning to put their name forth as a candidate, so that always became kind of an uphill battle.
A lot of people made comments to her when she was running for office. What do you think is going to happen to your children if you aren't there to take care of them? And you know, you would never ask a man. You would never ask a man what is going to happen to your children if you get a job.
She did not allow some elements of public opinion to stop her from doing what she felt was right and correct.
I recall my dad making her yard signs, and he made them all.
And they were driving around town putting up signs, and I thought that was kind of strange. And I remember there were these, the weekends they'd have to go and erase the mustaches that would have been drawn on and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, that's kind of not normal. You know, I don't know anyone else's mom that's doing this.
I don't know if I appreciated what she was doing, honestly. I don't know if I appreciated the fact that she was running for public office. It was my mom's job, and it probably was not long before my father died that I recognized that she did something different for a living.
Sue was elected and served with honor in the Nevada legislature as one of the leaders of a new generation.
She and a group of women were just visionaries, and Sue was the top of that visionary. And of course, she worked so hard for the passage of ERA. She and Jean Ford and Mary Gojak, they were just these strong, thoughtful women.
One reason why she was so effective in the Nevada legislature is she knew how to make people comfortable. She can be talking about something very, very serious, and then all of a sudden drop something that makes you laugh so hard.
Sue and I took a mission to Hollywood because we wanted to increase the amount of production that would come to Nevada. We had meetings with people at HBO and ABC television. Afterwards, Sue was giving a speech about this mission. They introduce her, she goes to the podium, and then she turns completely around with her back to the audience. Hasn't said a word. Then she dips down, and when she comes back up, she's got on this hot pink feathered boa with sunglasses. And she says, I don't want anyone to think that Hollywood has changed me.
And I think it's her way of making people feel at ease around her particularly when you're talking with someone that you know is extremely intelligent and probably knows a lot more than you do about whatever subject she's talking about.
Sue got along with everybody, and people who were different philosophically still considered her their best friend and worked with her.
Sue always goes the extra mile. I always measure by the staff in the Legislative Council Bureau, and they know who does their homework, who's there really to get something done, and I know they had the very highest regard for Sue.
She's had great impact positively for women and children in the state of Nevada. She also worked very hard for economic development and for businesses in the state. She just has a natural ability and desire to make things better for everyone.
And what do you know? Her kids turned out to be all right, even with a mom who had a busy job.
She's just as dynamic and powerful in her love toward her children and her kids as she is strong with politics.
When she would take us to the legislature and we would sit on the floor and be introduced as her children, and we were pretty proud.
I mean, who else had a mother that was assemblywoman, senator, lieutenant governor?
We knew that we had a special mom very early. Not just because we were there, but by the reception she had with the people she worked with.
Certainly, Sue is special in many ways, one of which is her inner strength. How can any of us imagine what it took for Sue to come back from a debilitating plane crash to serve her term as lieutenant governor?
She's a very determined person, and what she sets her mind on, she can pretty much achieve. She has a spine of iron, well, in more ways than one.
I think it's important for people to know how committed she is to helping others, and she's truly a public servant. She served because she was elected, and that was her job, and she is not going to not do her job. There is no way. She's just not going to say no. She will do that job if it kills her. That was one reason. And two, she thrived. She loved it. She wanted to continue to help Nevadans.
These days, Sue is retired from political office, but she is not exactly kicking back and smelling the roses.
Idleness is not in her DNA. She needs to be involved, and we need her to stay involved.
Sue has consistently been interested in women in politics.
She's been mentoring young women who are looking at possibly running for office.
The rest of us are kind of kicking back and and thinking, oh well, we've made our contributions, but not Sue. She's still in there, finding women to run and mentoring them along. It's not a party thing for her. It's about what they believe in.
She's always wanting to help people learn just a little bit more, whether it's a book or it's a policy or what we missed reading the New York Times or something that way. She's always the teacher.
She has given her life to her friends and children and to the people of Nevada.
So there are many people, there are businesses, there are people in gaming, families that will never know her name. But she made a huge mark and a huge difference for them.
Sue is not one to demand the spotlight. However, she did allow us to make her the honoree tonight only because this event benefits KNPB.
And you look at her involvement with the station here, KNPB. She was passionate about that from the very beginning.
Sue has been on this board for 12 years.
I'm sure all the board members will concur that she comes and stays well prepared.
And she has sought out people that she felt would be good board members and people that need to be involved.
The stability and the broadness and the inclusiveness of public television, it's just Sue personified. And I can see why she's been such an asset to this station and why you've chosen to recognize her.